Hey everybody, Ringingworm here, bringing you another video review. Today's video we're going to talk about the MP21 Cybertron Espionage Bumble, also known as Bumblebee. I'm really excited. I'm super happy I got this character for my collection. I'll talk a little bit about the different things that come with him and how he transforms and how I like the figure overall. He also comes with Spike in his exosuit from the Transformers movie, and I'm pretty excited to cover this. So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone, if you haven't done so already, please go to hit that subscribe button down there on, I believe, the right, and make sure you like this video if you want to see more, and I'll keep these coming regardless, but you'll be going a long way to help me out with that type stuff. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start with Spike, and we'll discuss the different things about this particular character. So I don't know if you guys remember about the movie from 1986, the Transformers movie, but this was the first time that we really saw this exosuit, at least that I can remember. And when that movie came out, it kind of changed everything, because I think almost the entire original cast was killed off, including Optimus Prime. Spoiler: Optimus Prime, Megatron was changed dramatically. They killed Starscream, who later came back, so forth and so on. And it just was a huge paradigm shift in the Transformers world, because a lot of these characters, I mean, it was only 2 years old when they made this movie and started killing off characters. But then they introduced some of the other Cybertronian characters. So in this particular movie, Spike is no longer a kid. He's got a son named Daniel. And his son is on Earth, and he is on Cybertron. So Spike's on Cybertron. And I got to remember how to do this here for a second. Okay, there we go. I figured it out. So anyway, you just when you're transforming this thing, it's not overly complicated. It's pretty simple, but sometimes, because the way the pieces fit together and everything, you can forget how to transform it. So as you can see, this one just kind of folds over, and then kind of goes into his back leg, and this rotates this way, and that's why I couldn't remember how to do it exactly. So instead of having that like that, it just folds over like that, and then it goes down, and then you have Spike. So just reviewing this figure, there's nothing overly spectacular about this particular figure. I mean, it's the cartoon movie version of Spike. It's not overly posable or anything like that. Not a lot of detail in the face. Here, I'll take this off and you can kind of see that. So, not a lot of detail in his face. He's got some thick hair, a little screw in the back of his head that looks weird, like maybe he's Frankenstein. But his head moves up, so when he's in his robot mode, or when he's transformed, he can see up, whatnot. So that moves, and that's nice, little touch to go there. And again, a lot of the times these masterpiece figures are more for display than they are for play. So I mean, obviously I wouldn't give one of these to my kids, because they're a lot more detailed than they were when we were kids, and I don't want to. I know that I used to break my Transformers, just the G1 versions of them, but there you have it, Spike. So this Bumblebee is a little bit more complicated, not overly complicated, so just really quick, just show you some of the things that he comes with. So this is the Volkswagen Beetle. He comes with an additional face that's kind of smiling. I don't know if you can see that, but maybe you can't. There you go. You can kind of see him smiling there. So he comes with a different face than the ones on him, and I'll show you his regular face. He comes with this little card right here. I'm told that, and I can't read any of this writing, obviously, but he's got his stats and all that type stuff. In robot mode, he comes with his booklet of instructions. Kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like here. Again, writing that I don't understand, different poses. There's his there's Spike's transformation. And then on the back, you can see all the different information. So anyway, we're not gonna go over that step by step. But then he comes with this extra mirror here. And when I opened up the package originally, I had no idea what that was. But what it is, he's got two of them right there, and if you want to, you can plug that rear view mirror in right there. He doesn't want to have one on the other side, and I think that's the way Volkswagen was anyway. But right there, he's got the peg hole for his rear view mirror, and I haven't put it on because I don't really care that much if it's on there or not. But anyway, so on the underside, he comes with this tire piece right here, and then inside the tire piece comes this kind of license plate cover right there. And if you want to, if you look on the back, you can put that little black piece in right there, and then it'll make him look like he has a license plate instead of the tire. Or you can do that with the tire right there and have him look like a Beetle. I don't know if the Beetles had that on the original cars because I wasn't a big Beetle fan, and I don't remember it from the cartoon, but it is an option if you wanted to put that on there. And then underneath here, it also, you can see that he can store his gun under there, and it just pops right out. It kind of fits right in there in that area. And then that's just basically it. And then he just kind of comes apart pretty simply. It's not anything that's overly complicated. One thing you've got to do is you got to fold this thing under right here because it has to fit right in there. You can kind of see how that slides just right into that little carriage right there. And that's the one thing that's great about these these masterpiece figures, is they just comes down and snaps like that. Pretty simple. Goes up. This, what it does back here, so you can kind of see it, is this is just basically the front part. And like I said, you can see these different joints, whatever. Well, it's pretty simple. It comes down and then goes around just like that. And then you kind of hide his foot, so it doesn't look like it's just a whole bunch of open pieces and whatnot. And the same thing happens on the other side. So you fold his foot under, this comes around, and then just kind of locks into place right there. And then your knees, you just push these until they straighten out, and then they lock into place, and then there you go. So that's basically his transformation underneath. Now this piece right here, you can see, actually is a painted black piece. So some people have problems with that. I don't really care. I more or less like just to look at the figures more than I do reminisce about every single little detail. And for me, in collecting these figures like Transformers and mostly DC stuff that I collect, but it's about what I used to like to do when I was a kid. I like to watch this stuff when I was a kid. So seeing these on my shelves and knowing that I can do what I'm doing right now with them, it just kind of fills me with some joy and that type stuff. So anyway, back to the transformation. As you can see right here, now this comes off. So if you pull this off, it's not, it's not going to hurt anything. I don't know if you want to do that long term, but that does come off, so you're not going to hurt anything if you start moving stuff around and whatnot. So anyway, his arms just basically are in here, right here. You can see him right there, and his head is just right up underneath this piece right here. So what you got to do, I got to remember how to do it, is this comes up. I'm trying to think. Oh, this folds out, I think. There. So there's little tabs in there right underneath here. So you just kind of fold these out flat like that. That's a really good way of doing it, because these doors right here, excuse me, I'm getting a little bit too close to the camera. These doors right here are just going to fold down into his side, so you won't see a lot of that type stuff. So just going back here, you can see his head a little bit there through there. So you're just going to fold this down and then twist it around like that. Like I said, this thing goes right here. So you do want to reinstall this before you do the next part. I don't think it matters like extensively if you don't do it in this order, but it is a little bit easier to get it on like this. And this just kind of folds over like so. So you push that down, and then there's a little groove in here that just kind of fits. You can see it right there. Maybe you can see it right there, and this just kind of fits right there into there. So I'm gonna just, before I do that, I'm gonna fold these down, pull the arms up and around, fold this down, same thing, up and around. There's his hand right there that just kind of comes around. There's his hand that comes around. And then he's got this reflector right here, and you have to have it perfectly lined up when you're transferring it into car mode, but that just kind of goes behind his hand right there. Same thing on this side, it just kind of, it's on a double joint, and then you can just lower this into place, and like I said, that little piece right there just tabs right in there. And there you have him. There is Bumblebee in all of his glory. There is no doubt about that. Looks so accurate to the cartoon in this mode versus the other mode. You know, I remember thinking that this was the back rear view mirror right here when I was a kid, and I think in some ways it might have been, but obviously what they've done is they've just taken that top piece and had this piece connect to it, so it just kind of gives it that finished look. And then if you take this, because this was in the cartoon, this little circular thing, right, the spare tire, and it just sits there like that. And this is Bumblebee right here. So Bumblebee, you can see him with a comparison to Spike. He's got the additional face right here. This is actually really easy to pop off. It's just got two pegs right there. So basically you just kind of get your finger in right here or under his chin. But you can see there's a little line right there, and you just need to kind of get that out. Maybe. It's because I said it was easy, it's not gonna be. You can actually see his face moving a little bit. I got a pair of tweezers around here somewhere. There we go. So his face just kind of pops off like that. And then you can just take his smiling face right here and plug that right there. And I like that face a little bit better, so I'm going to leave that face on him. But there you go. There is the Masterpiece Bumblebee, and as you can see, he's quite articulate. He's got his shoulder here moves up and down. It's on a kind of a ball joint and hinge, so it can move up and around. His elbow moves up. Pretty good range of motion. His hands, his hands don't really swivel around or anything like that. Oops, Spike fell down. But his head moves up. He can look up. He can look down to some extent. Lots of room to move his legs around. I think that's really cool, actually, that he can move his legs that much. His knees bend here. Kind of got quite a bit of flexibility. He can sit pretty good. You can see his leg here pivot, so you can get some ankle movement. And actually, that's not a terrible pose right there if he was just kind of on that angle, kind of like he's dodging. Anyway, so there he is, Masterpiece Bumblebee, and as you can see, I mean, he's in a kind of, not the best pose, but a dynamic pose, to be sure, because it's more than the G1 toys could do, I can tell you that right now. So there you have it, MP21 Bumblebee. Like I said, I'm not going to do a lot of extras with this video. There's other people that have already reviewed it, and I really don't want to be like everyone else as far as their reviews go. So for me, I just like to talk about why this is so special. So okay, guys, so I just really quick wanted to show you, because this is it right here, the scene that I remember hooking me as a child. And guys, Transformers came out in 1984. I was 4 years old when this came out, and imagine being a little boy in the 80s, and this was what was on Saturday morning cartoons. I remember episode 1, which was like More Than Meets the Eye, I think was the title of the episode. I mean, before we even cared about it. And the first 2 Transformers that we got to look at was Bumblebee crawling out of a hole, followed by Wheeljack. And Wheeljack was, and he were attacked by the Decepticons, and then you were off and running. And I just wanted to show you the 2 together to give you kind of a scale comparison. Then I have one more piece right here that I'm going to stick next to Bumblebee. Now this is the Spike in his exosuit. So the reason why he can transform is because he's not really that big. He's just kind of in this part right here in the cartoon. So he's not really that big, and the reason why I'm showing you that is because here is him without the suit. So as you can see is about how much space he actually takes up in that suit. And you can see him scaled with Bumblebee right there. Probably won't get him to stand very good, but okay, there you go. So there you have it, guys. MP21 Bumblebee from Takara Tomy, Masterpiece Volkswagen Beetle from Transformers. I just absolutely love this figure. If you are a fan of the Transformers, I highly recommend you get this figure. I've told you guys in the past, I don't collect a lot of things that aren't DC related, like Superman and Batman and that type stuff. But there are a few things, and for me, Transformers is one of those things. Now, when I was a little bit older, I collected some of the other Beast War stuff and whatever, but I didn't really take very good care of them because I really didn't understand collecting in that particular time. And then these masterpiece collection items started coming out in the early 2000s, and I picked up my first one, which was the MP1 Optimus Prime. I showed you guys in another video, but they've slowly started to release these other figures, and I don't know when this one was released, but they've just released some over the years, and they've gotten more and more updates since then. So these 2 items are based on the MP10 scale Optimus Prime, so they kind of fit with that genre, and they also, for the most part, fit inside his trailer. So the next one I'm going to review in detail is going to be Wheeljack, because again, he was the number 2 Autobot that we saw before anyone else, and I think that it's only fitting that we review his figure because of that. So guys, I hope you liked this video today. It was shorter than some of my other ones. It was really exciting to do because I haven't done really anything other than the DC items that I have, and I'm going to be doing another one of those really soon. But if you like this video and you want to see more, please like and share this video. Share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe and then hit that little bell icon on your YouTube channel, and you'll get all the updates when I post online. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful evening.